What if the greatest threat to your family isn't an external enemy, a market crash, or some unforeseen disaster? What if it's far more insidious, a silent saboteur living deep within you? We often dismiss our personal weaknesses as harmless quirks, minor character flaws that only impact us. But that is a dangerous, potentially devastating delusion. Your unaddressed weaknesses are not just personal imperfections. They're ticking time bombs set to detonate the very foundations of your home, your relationships, and your entire legacy. Have you ever witnessed the quiet erosion of trust in your most vital relationships? Perhaps it's a habit of indecision, leaving your partner to shoulder every heavy burden alone, slowly crushing their spirit and their faith in your leadership. Or maybe it's the slow, agonizing decay of financial security, not from bad luck, but from your relentless procrastination, delaying crucial decisions that jeopardize your children's college funds or your family's future stability. Think about the growing distance from loved ones, not born of malice, but from your inability to control impulsive reactions, pushing them away one harsh, thoughtless word at a time until the chasm becomes too wide to bridge. And what about the opportunities lost, the potential unfulfilled, because fear paralyzes you, keeping you from taking necessary risks for career growth, denying your family the stability and upward mobility they deserve? These aren't just isolated incidents. These are the systemic cracks appearing in the bedrock of your life, all traced back to the silent, unchallenged weaknesses you carry within. This isn't about guilt. It's about a brutal, unflinching truth that few dare to speak. The ancient strategists, men like Sun Tzu, understood that every battle is won or lost long before it begins. They taught that the greatest victories come from knowing yourself and your enemy intimately, from understanding the subtle currents of power and vulnerability. But what if your most dangerous enemy isn't outside, on some distant battlefield, but a part of you? What if the darkest psychological lesson is this? Your unaddressed weaknesses are not just personal flaws, but strategic vulnerabilities that invite ruin, not just for you, but for your entire lineage. They are open gates in your fortress, inviting the very destruction you seek to avoid. This isn't just about self-improvement. It's about self-preservation, about protecting the sanctuary you call family. In the comments below, right now, I want you to make a commitment. Type, "I choose to conquer my weaknesses starting today." Now, let's begin to dissect the enemy within. The path to true strength, to building an impenetrable fortress around your family, starts with a brutal, unvarnished look at yourself. We will explore the dark psychological lessons that ancient masters understood, principles designed not for external conquest, but for internal mastery. This journey begins with the shadow, self's blueprint. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, famously declared, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This isn't just a philosophical musing. It's a strategic imperative. You cannot conquer what you refuse to acknowledge. This principle demands a ruthless self-assessment, a deep dive into the hidden corners of your psyche to map out your weaknesses, not to wallow in self-pity, but to understand their genesis, their triggers, and their insidious patterns. Consider the weakness of procrastination, a common ailment in modern American life. Most people simply label themselves a procrastinator and move on. But that's a superficial diagnosis. To understand its blueprint, you must trace its roots. Is it a deep-seated fear of failure, where the imagined perfection of a task prevents any action at all? Is it a form of perfectionism, where the pursuit of an unattainable ideal makes starting seem pointless? Or is it a lack of clarity, where the sheer ambiguity of a task leaves you paralyzed? Understanding this precise blueprint allows you to target the root cause, not just the frustrating symptom. Most people ignore their flaws, rationalize them away, or simply accept them as part of their identity. You, however, will meticulously chart yours, transforming self-deception into strategic insight, turning a blind spot into a battle map. Next, we confront the Trojan horse principle. Sun Tzu, the legendary military strategist, taught us, Know your enemy and know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be defeated. But what if the most dangerous enemy is already inside your walls? Your weaknesses are not just passive traits, like a loose floorboard in your house. They are active saboteurs, Trojan horses disguised as minor character quirks, waiting for the opportune moment to betray you and your family from within. They whisper doubts into your ear, encourage inaction when courage is needed, and provoke destructive impulses that can shatter trust in an instant. Imagine an unmanaged temper, a weakness many dismiss as just how I am, or it's just stress. This temper isn't merely a random outburst. It's your Trojan horse. It waits for the perfect storm. A particularly stressful day at work, chronic tiredness, a minor disagreement with your spouse about household chores or the kids' homework. Then, it erupts not just in a fleeting moment of anger, but in a torrent of harsh words that inflict deep, often irreversible damage to trust, intimacy, and the emotional safety of your home. It chips away at the foundation of your relationships, leaving scars that may never fully heal. Most people treat these weaknesses as minor inconveniences, something to apologize for later. You, however, will recognize them as internal enemies, requiring constant vigilance and strategic countermeasures, like a general guarding his most vulnerable gates. This is not about guilt. It's about gaining absolute clarity. You are now seeing the true battleground, understanding that the war for your family's future is being waged right here, within you. Now, let's turn our attention to the architect of ruin. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, sagely observed, "The man who does not plan has no hope of success." But what if your inaction is a plan in itself? Inaction against weakness is not neutrality. It is active participation in your own downfall. Every single moment you delay confronting a critical flaw, you are not simply maintaining the status quo. You are actively building the architecture of your family's future ruin. Weakness unchecked does not fade or diminish. It grows stronger, deeper, more entrenched, like a cancer spreading silently through your home. Consider the weakness of avoiding difficult conversations, a trait that often masquerades as a desire for peace or a fear of conflict. This inaction, this silence, allows resentment to fester within your marriage. Unspoken frustrations, unresolved disagreements, and unmet needs quietly accumulate, like water slowly eroding a dam. This silent erosion chips away at affection, at shared understanding, until the emotional structure of your relationship collapses. Your silence, your avoidance, becomes the architect of separation, of emotional distance, or even outright divorce. Most people assume that problems will simply solve themselves with time, or that ignoring them will make them disappear. You, however, will understand that the absence of decisive action is itself a destructive force, and you will learn to act with purpose and resolve. Next, we equip ourselves with the Stoic shield. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius declared, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. True strength, the kind that protects your family, lies not in the suppression of emotion, but in its mastery." This principle calls for you to develop a Stoic shield, an unbreakable mental barrier built on the fundamental distinction between what you can control and what you cannot. You control your reactions, your choices, your efforts. You cannot control external events, the actions of others, or the unpredictable currents of life. This shield prevents your inherent weaknesses from being triggered and amplified by external chaos. Imagine facing a period of severe financial stress, a common and terrifying external event for many American families. Most people, when confronted with such a threat, might panic, lash out at their spouse, withdraw into themselves, or make impulsive, desperate decisions, all manifestations of unchecked weaknesses. But with the Stoic shield, you respond differently. You recognize that you cannot control the market or the unexpected bill, but you absolutely control your reaction. Instead of panicking, you focus your energy on analyzing your budget, exploring potential solutions, and communicating calmly and transparently with your family. You become a steadying force, a beacon of calm in the storm, rather than another source of chaos. Most people react impulsively to external pressures, allowing their weaknesses to dictate their response, leading to regret and further damage. You will wield the stoic shield, choosing your response with deliberate, calm power, becoming the anchor your family needs. The chess pieces are now in your hands. How will you move them to secure your kingdom? To secure your kingdom, you must first understand the terrain, and that terrain is your own soul. This brings us to the strategist's mirror. The ancient philosopher Aristotle, whose wisdom still echoes through the ages, famously stated, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. This isn't merely a philosophical observation. It's a call to arms for relentless self-assessment. You, as the strategist for your family's future, must regularly hold a mirror to your actions and reactions, seeking objective truth, even when that truth is painful. This means not just internal reflection, but actively seeking honest, unvarnished feedback from your trusted allies, your spouse, a close friend, a mentor who truly sees you. Consider the pervasive American weakness of overspending, often masked by the allure of instant gratification or the pressure to keep up with the Joneses. Most people might feel a pang of guilt after an impulsive Amazon purchase or seeing their credit card statement, but they rarely delve deeper. With the strategist's mirror, you don't just feel bad, you act. You regularly review your bank statements, track your habits on a budgeting app, and, crucially, discuss your progress and struggles transparently with your spouse. The mirror reveals the stark truth, where your money is going, why you're spending it, and the impact it has on your family's financial stability. This objective truth allows for immediate course correction, transforming impulsive habits into intentional financial stewardship. Most people avoid critical self-reflection, preferring to blame external factors like inflation or a bad month. You, however, will actively seek the unvarnished truth, using it not as a weapon for self-condemnation, but as a precise tool for continuous improvement, for fortifying your family's economic future. But insight alone is insufficient. Knowledge without execution is merely intellectual vanity. That's why we must now enter the forge of discipline. As the motivational speaker Jim Rohn wisely put it, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Weaknesses are not overcome by wishful thinking, by fleeting bursts of motivation, or by hoping they will simply disappear. They are conquered only through the relentless, daily application of discipline. The forge of discipline is where new, stronger habits are hammered out of the raw material of your will, where consistency, not intensity, becomes your most potent weapon. It's about committing to a series of small, often uncomfortable actions day in and day out. Take the common weakness of a lack of follow-through, that tendency to start projects with enthusiasm only to abandon them midway, leaving a trail of unfinished tasks and broken promises. This isn't just about your personal productivity, it impacts your family. Perhaps it's that home improvement project that's been half done for months, a constant reminder of neglected responsibility, or the promise to help your child with their science fair project that never fully materializes. In the forge of discipline, you don't aim for perfection, you aim for completion. You commit to finishing one small task every single day, no matter how insignificant it seems. It could be fixing that leaky faucet, making that difficult phone call, or spending just 15 focused minutes on a neglected family budget. Over time, this consistent, almost monotonous discipline builds the muscle of execution. It transforms you from someone who intends to do things into someone who does them, impacting every area of your life, including your most vital family responsibilities. Most people seek quick fixes, instant gratification, or motivation that inevitably fades when the initial excitement wears off. You, however, will embrace the slow, arduous, but ultimately unbreakable power of discipline, understanding that true strength is built through consistent effort, not fleeting inspiration. This path, this internal war against your weaknesses, is undeniably challenging. It demands courage, honesty, and an unwavering will. But remember this, the prize is not merely personal improvement. The prize is a legacy of strength, security, and unwavering love for those you cherish most. In the comments below, declare your commitment. I embrace the forge to build my family's future. Finally, we arrive at the legacy imperative. The ancient Athenian statesman Pericles, a leader who understood the profound impact of individual character on the fate of society, reminded us, what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. This principle elevates the fight against weakness beyond mere self-improvement. It frames it as a moral imperative, a sacred duty to your family's future. Your children, consciously or unconsciously, will inherit your habits, your strengths, and, most critically, your unaddressed weaknesses. Every flaw you allow to persist within yourself casts a long shadow over their future, shaping their character, their resilience, and their ability to navigate the complexities of life. What legacy are you actively building for them, day by day, choice by choice? Consider the weakness of emotional volatility, a tendency to react with anger or frustration rather than calm reasoning. If left unchecked, this isn't just a personal struggle. It becomes a destructive pattern passed down through generations. Your children, witnessing your outbursts, may either replicate them in their own relationships or, conversely, become overly timid and avoidant, terrified of triggering similar reactions. But if you confront this weakness head-on, if you develop the stoic shield and master your emotional responses, you do more than just improve your own life. You model calm resilience for your children. You teach them, through your actions, how to navigate conflict constructively, how to express frustration without causing harm, how to be an anchor in the storm, rather than creating one. You break a cycle of anger and replace it with a legacy of emotional intelligence and strength. Most people focus on immediate gratification, on personal comfort, or on what they can accumulate in their lifetime. You, however, will elevate your perspective, acting with the long-term well-being, the character development, and the enduring legacy of your family as your ultimate guide. You will understand that your greatest masterpiece is not a career achievement or a bank account, but the lives you shape and the future you secure for those who come after you. But with this profound insight, with this blueprint for internal conquest, comes a grave responsibility. The deep psychological truths we've uncovered today are not weapons to wield against others, nor are they blueprints for manipulation or dominance in the arena of human relations. This isn't about becoming a ruthless tactician who exploits the vulnerabilities of others. On the contrary, these are ancient, hard-won lessons for profound self-mastery, a formidable shield forged from wisdom and self-awareness to protect your inner fortress, and by extension, the sacred sanctuary of your family. Understand that true strength is not found in controlling others, but in absolute command of oneself. Use this knowledge to build, to fortify your character, to uplift your loved ones, and to strengthen the bonds that matter most, never to dismantle, exploit, or destroy. Your ultimate power lies in self-control, in strategic protection of your inner world and your household, not in external aggression or Machiavellian schemes. This wisdom is a guardian, not a weapon of offense. You have journeyed through the shadows of self-deception, confronted the Trojan horses within, and emerged with the strategist's clear vision. You now stand at a pivotal crossroads, a moment of profound decision that will reverberate, not just through your own life, but through the generations of your entire lineage. Consider the first path, the well-trodden and deceptively comfortable road that leads back to the familiar embrace of unaddressed weaknesses. It is a path paved with good intentions, but fraught with silent perils. Here, quiet procrastination erodes financial stability, not with a bang, but with the slow drip of missed opportunities and mounting debt that casts a long shadow over your children's future, perhaps even limiting their access to the American dream. Here, impulsive reactions, those flashes of unmanaged temper or hasty judgment shatter trust not just in the moment, but leave lasting fissures in the bedrock of your most vital relationships, turning a shared home into an emotional minefield. Unexamined fears deny not only your own potential for growth, but also the security and abundance your family deserves, keeping you from seizing that promotion or starting that crucial side hustle. On this path, inaction itself becomes the silent architect of your family's slow, agonizing ruin, a gradual decay that leaves behind a legacy of quiet corrosion, of fractured relationships, and ultimately, of deep, gnawing regret. It is the path of allowing your inner Trojan horses, those neglected flaws, to betray your kingdom from within, leaving a crumbling edifice for your children to inherit, burdened by the very patterns you refuse to confront. But there is another path, a far more challenging, yet infinitely more rewarding journey. This is the arduous ascent of courageous self-confrontation, of brutal honesty, and of relentless, unwavering discipline. It is the path where you systematically identify and dismantle every internal saboteur, where you forge an unbreakable will in the crucible of daily effort, much like the pioneers who built this nation from sheer grit. On this path, you become the master of your emotions, the architect of your destiny, and the steadfast guardian of your household. You build a foundation of strength so profound, so resilient, that it will not only uplift and protect your immediate family, providing them with emotional security and tangible stability, but will also secure a legacy of unwavering integrity, genuine prosperity, and profound emotional intelligence for generations yet unborn. This is the path of becoming the unwavering guardian of your family's future, the stoic leader who stands firm against external storms, like economic downturns or unforeseen crises, and internal pressures, ensuring their sanctuary remains inviolate, a beacon of strength and peace in a chaotic world. The choice, as it always has been, is profoundly and entirely yours. Will you continue to allow your weaknesses to dictate your destiny, to silently undermine your relationships, and to cast a long, dark shadow over those you love most? Or will you seize this moment, commit to the forge of discipline, and become the indomitable, unwavering force your family desperately needs you to be? Will you be the architect of their ruin, or the unyielding guardian of their future, shaping a legacy of strength that will echo for centuries? If the gravity of this message, if the urgency of this truth has resonated deep within your spirit, then make your commitment known, not just to yourself, but to the community of those striving for true mastery. Hit that like button right now to signal your dedication to this internal war, to show that you are ready to stand firm. Subscribe to this channel for more unfiltered insights into mastering your inner world, for strategies that empower you to secure your true power and protect your legacy. And in the comments below, I challenge you. Declare openly and without reservation which specific weakness you're committed to crushing first, the one that has held you back the most, and articulate the profound, positive impact that victory will have on your family, your legacy, and your entire future. Your declaration isn't just a comment. It's a solemn vow, a public commitment to your highest self and to those who depend on you. Make it count and begin building that unbreakable future today. The weight of that decision, that solitary declaration in the digital ether, is far heavier than you might realize. It's not just a comment. It's a ripple sent through time, a subtle shift in the very fabric of your being that will either grow into a tidal wave of transformation or dissipate into the familiar comfort of complacency. For too long, we have been conditioned to believe that our inner struggles are private affairs, contained within the confines of our own minds. But that is a lie, a dangerous deception that allows weakness to fester, to spread its silent tendrils into every corner of your life, most devastatingly into the lives of those you swore to protect. Consider the unseen costs of allowing your weaknesses to persist. It's not always a dramatic explosion, a public failure, or a sudden betrayal. More often, it's the quiet erosion, the subtle withdrawal of affection from a spouse who feels unheard, the unspoken disappointment in a child's eyes who sees you shrink from a challenge, the slow drain of respect from colleagues who witness your indecision. These are the invisible wounds, the psychological scars that accumulate over years, weakening the very bonds that define your existence. Your fear of confrontation, for instance, doesn't just make your life uncomfortable. It creates an environment where injustice can thrive, where your family might be taken advantage of because you lack the courage to speak up. Your financial recklessness isn't just a personal habit. It's a silent threat to your children's stability, potentially denying them opportunities you never had, trapping them in a cycle of scarcity you inadvertently perpetuated. This is the darkest psychological lesson. Your personal flaws are rarely personal. They're vectors of impact, radiating outward, shaping the destiny of your lineage. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, every time you rationalize away a destructive habit, every time you allow fear to paralyze you, you are not just failing yourself. You are failing a future generation. You are weaving threads of instability, anxiety, and unfulfilled potential into the tapestry of their lives, a legacy they will carry long after you are gone, often without understanding its origin. They will inherit your patterns, your coping mechanisms, your unspoken fears, and your uncrushed weaknesses, perceiving them as the natural order of things. This is the silent, generational curse that self-delusion breeds. But conversely, every act of self-mastery, every moment you choose discipline over indulgence, courage over fear, and truth over self-deception, you are performing an act of profound creation. You are not just building a better you. You are forging a better future for your family, a stronger foundation for your children to stand upon. When you conquer your procrastination, you free up mental space and resources, creating a more stable, predictable home environment. When you master your temper, you teach your children emotional intelligence and resilience, breaking a cycle of reactive anger and replacing it with calm, reasoned communication. When you face your financial fears and build a robust plan, you are not just securing your retirement. You are modeling responsibility, teaching prudence, and opening doors of opportunity for your descendants. This isn't about perfection. It's about relentless progress. It's about understanding that the battle within is the most important battle you will ever fight, because its outcome determines the fate of your kingdom, your family. The ancient masters, the strategists and philosophers, understood this profound truth. They knew that the greatest empires crumbled not always from external invasion, but from internal decay, from the unseen weaknesses that festered within their leaders and their people. Your family is your empire, and you are its emperor. Will you allow it to be undermined by the silent saboteurs lurking in your own psyche, or will you rise to the challenge, becoming the unwavering guardian it deserves? The choice you've made, or are about to make, is not a fleeting thought. It's a seed planted, and like any seed, it requires consistent nourishment and protection to grow. It demands vigilance against the old patterns, the comforting lies, the whispers of complacency that will inevitably try to pull you back into the shadows. This journey of crushing weakness is a lifelong endeavor, a continuous forging in the crucible of your will. Each small victory builds momentum. Each setback offers a brutal, yet invaluable, lesson. Remember, the goal is not merely to eliminate a flaw. It is to replace it with a strength, to transmute the lead of your weaknesses into the gold of virtues, to transform indecision into decisive action, fear into calculated courage, impulsiveness into stoic composure. This is the alchemy of self-mastery, a process that not only elevates you, but elevates every single person connected to you. Your transformation becomes their shield, your discipline their inheritance, your strength their sanctuary. The path ahead will be challenging. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old habits scream for recognition, when the easy way out beckons with siren songs of comfort. But it is precisely in these moments of internal conflict that your true character is forged. It is here that you prove your commitment, not just to yourself, but to the sacred trust placed in you by your family. The legacy you build is not just about what you achieve, but about who you become in the relentless pursuit of that achievement. It's about the unwavering resolve you display in the face of your deepest insecurities, the quiet strength you cultivate when no one is watching, the consistent effort you put in when motivation wanes. This is the ultimate test of leadership, leading yourself first, mastering your internal landscape, and in doing so, becoming an unshakable pillar for those who look to you for guidance and security. The future of your family, their peace, their prosperity, their very character, hinges on the choices you make starting now and every single day forward. Do not underestimate the power of your inner world to shape your outer reality and the reality of those you hold dear. The battle is internal, but the victory is shared. The true dark psychological lesson isn't just about identifying vulnerabilities. It's about understanding that the most profound power lies in turning those vulnerabilities into fortresses. It's about recognizing that your greatest strength, your most enduring legacy, will emerge not from avoiding conflict, but from confronting the enemy within, head-on and without compromise. This is the path of the true protector, the unwavering leader, the architect of an unbreakable future. This is not merely a philosophy to ponder in the quiet corners of your mind. This is a battle plan, a living blueprint for the man you are destined to become, the man your family desperately needs. You've walked through the shadows of self-deception, identified the silent saboteurs, and glimpsed the devastating cost of inaction. Now, the moment of truth has arrived. The wisdom shared today isn't a suggestion. It's a stark choice, laid bare before you like a frontier map. Will you be the one who finally breaks the chains of inherited weakness, who stands firm against the currents of complacency, and carves out a new destiny for your lineage? Will you be the patriarch who builds an emotional and financial stronghold, a safe harbor in a chaotic world, ensuring that your children and grandchildren inherit not your flaws, but your fortified resilience and unwavering courage? Or will you allow the comfortable lie of "it's just who I am" to persist, letting those internal vulnerabilities continue to chip away at the very foundations of your home, silently sabotaging the prosperity and peace you claim to desire for your loved ones? This isn't about grand gestures or overnight transformations. It's about the daily, relentless commitment to self-mastery, the quiet victories won in the forge of your own will. It's about deciding, right now, to step into the arena, to confront the enemy within, and to emerge as the unyielding guardian your family deserves. The American dream, the pursuit of a better life for your children, begins not in the stock market or a corner office, but within the disciplined confines of your own character. It's the ultimate investment. If this message has struck a chord, if it has ignited a fire in your gut, then show your commitment. Hit that like button. It's a signal, a public declaration that you are ready to fight for your family's future. Subscribe to this channel for more raw, unfiltered strategies to conquer your inner world and build a legacy of true strength. And in the comments below, tell me, what is the single, most crucial strength you will actively cultivate, starting today, to ensure your family's enduring security and prosperity? Your answer isn't just text on a screen. It's the first brick in the fortress you are building. Make it count. Your family's future depends on it.